everyone, my name is Amina Azad. Welcome to another episode of Mind Reader. In today's episode, we're going to talk about what is depression. But before I start, I would like to remind you guys again, don't forget to subscribe to our Grow Your Reader YouTube channel. Don't forget to like our Grow Your Reader Facebook page. And if you like our videos, don't forget to share and comment. Okay. So in the previous episode, I talked about what is anxiety, and in today's episode, I'm going to talk about what is depression. So let's start. So depression, as you all know, depression is a feeling of sadness, a feeling of unhappiness, where you're feeling very down. So for a child, if he is depressed, he usually stops doing things that he was interested in once upon a time, and that all of a sudden. He stops doing things that he used to enjoy. He feels very hopeless. He doesn't want to continue things in fear that he will not be able to succeed. So this is when you know that your child is diagnosed with depression, especially if this feeling or these symptoms happen to the child constantly and persistently. He's feeling sad, he's feeling hopeless, he's feeling guilty, he's feeling like a weak person, constantly. That's when you'll understand that he is diagnosed with depression. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys few examples of situations it can be for a child when he's depressed, so that it's easy for you to understand. So the first is that your child, like I said, it's because it's depression, he will be feeling sad, he'll be feeling unhappy, and he'll be feeling irritated very easily. Most of the time he'll be feeling very irritated, and he'll get angry. This too also very easily. That's when you understand that there's some kind of a problem with him, then he's most likely depressed. The other is that all of a sudden stops doing things that he used to do in his daily routine. It could be that he had a certain time for doing his homework, he had a certain time for doing his play activities, but that's all of a sudden he changed, and he just started slacking, and he started being like, oh, okay, whatever. That's when you understand that there's a problem and he's probably depressed. Another is that there is a difference in his sleeping patterns. He's either sleeping a lot, or he's sleeping a lot less. There's a changes in his eating pattern. He's either eating a lot, or he's either eating a lot less. And this is the next example that I'm going to tell you is very, very important, and you really need to put your attention to this, is that his change in his energy pattern. If you see a change, like your highly hyperactive child suddenly becomes so low and not interested in anything, that's when you understand that he's really severely depressed. Because change of pattern of energy is something that is the first symptom of depression. So it could also be that your child is, just to show that he is happy, or he's not depressed, he's just hyperactively doing everything. So it could be the opposite as well. So in both cases, you need to understand, sit and talk to your child, because he's probably depressed. The other is that he's having a very hard time paying attention to things. Like he was very attentive in class, he's not attentive anymore. Maybe because he's bullied by kids or something or the other. So you talk to your teacher, you talk to his friends, and you understand what are the reasons that he's not being able to pay attention. Also, he's not paying attention even in the family. He stopped spending time with the family, he stopped talking to his sisters, his brothers, his mother. So you also need to sit down and talk to him and understand that what is the problem. The other is that he's feeling this is a very common feeling that every child goes through. That he feels unworthy, he feels guilty, he feels hopeless. So however, this can happen because maybe he lost a game, or he didn't get good grades, or etc, etc. But if this remains constant, then you need to sit with him, talk to him, and understand as to why he's feeling such he's having such emotions. The next is a very dangerous one, and if this happens, that means he's severely depressed and he really needs to consult a psychologist. That is, he's doing self-injury or self-harm to himself. Because of him feeling very depressed and very sad, he feels that maybe if he harms himself or he injures himself, maybe he'll feel better or his depression will go away. So that's when you understand that he is severely depressed and needs a psychologist as soon as possible. So depression in general is, happens to everybody. It's a very normal everyday life thing. But if it constantly happens, then you need to understand that this diagnosis needs to be treated, because between the year 10 to 24 years, the reason for suicide, the most common reason for suicide is depression. So this is something that as a parent or as a guardian you really need to look after. And extreme level of depression, especially when it comes to self-injury and self-harm, gradually it will drag the child towards suicide. So this is, and cause death. So obviously you don't want this as this to happen to your child. So look into these matters and these examples. And as a parent, you will understand best, and you will understand most significantly the behavioral changes that your child will have, and you will be able to identify whether or not he's depressed or he's diagnosed with depression. So anyway, that's all for today. I hope you really liked the video and it was very informative. So in our next episode, I'm going to talk about what is ODD. You will know what is ODD in our next episode. So till then, bye and take care.